All right, here we go with part two. I've got 3 sets of gauges out here. This is a set made by Meyer and also made by Meyer. Country of origin USA, sold by McMaster-Carr. This set is made by Starrett, and country of origin, as you might have guessed, is China. First thing I want to point out is all these gauges that have had the protective wrap removed from them have been checked, and they're all dead on the money. The only real differences between the Meyer and the Starrett is the Rockwell hardness of the gauges. I have taken some of these and put them in a drill press, spun them like a drill bit, and put a file and grind down a tip to make a pointer. These grind down pretty easy. These Meyers are so hard, the file will not scratch them. That's the difference, that and the cost. These Meyers, of course, you can buy from McMaster-Carr. You can also buy the mid-range set as well. You're going to buy a set of gauges and you want to buy the cheap Chinese-made ones off Amazon, I see no problem with them. The plug gauge handle is cheap, plastic, versus the good Meyer stuff you can get at McMaster-Carr. This was the gas key we saw in part one. The 3 sets I've got is the .011, .060, .061 to .250, .251 to .500. I would only recommend buying these 2 sets. Any of these pins you want, you just order them individually from McMaster-Carr. This is almost $400 for this set. When we move on up to the 501 to 750 and the 751 to 1 inch, you're talking thousands of dollars. All 3 of these sets are positives, so they would be considered a go gauge. They're perfectly fine for measuring the size of a hole. Now, when I drafted my go no-go gauges, I ordered them from McMaster-Carr, positive and negative. And McMaster-Carr actually engraves the size of the gauge on the barrel nut, the gauge handle nut. You can custom order them that way. All right, so I'm going to show you which ones I use. All right, I use .250, .252 for takedown and pivot pin. It's much tighter specs than what other people use. .375 to .377 for the safety selector. .155, .157 for the trigger and hammer pins. .380 to .385. That's for the bolt face. .311 to .313 is for the hole in the cam pin hole in the bolt. .0625 to .0645 is for the firing pin hole in the bolt. My specs are much tighter, and I can tell you, of all these guns I own and all these parts I own, every single one of them will meet these specs. I do not want parts with sloppy holes. All right, let's take a look at headspace gauges. I got the 11-piece set from PT&G. Then we got the 300 blackout and 308. These are my 3 bores. I don't do that the same way as other people either. I'll show you what my specs are for that. And here they are. I use go, no go, and field, just like on a headspace gauge. Every one of my bolt carriers, all my spares, all the bolt carriers and all my rifles will pass the go and will not accept the no-go. If they do, I'm getting rid of those parts. Don't mean they ain't bad or they ain't good. It's just that I don't want sloppy parts. Somebody else can have them. All right, you can custom order your go no-go gauges directly from McMaster-Carr. They will ship you the gauge. The go will be a positive and the no-go will be a negative, and they will laser engrave the sides on the nuts. That's about as deep as I get into gauging. I have my, this is my throat erosion gauge. I have it disassembled so it will fit into that plastic tube. And the muzzle erosion gauge. All right, got any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments.